A $60 jacket and a $600 jacket can use the exact same Gore-Tex membrane. The difference is a logo and a marketing budget. I pulled the membrane specs, markup data, and customer receipts on 9 outdoor clothing brands. And what I found goes deeper than bad reviews. Most of these brands are owned by the same 2 conglomerates. Same factories, different logos. 5 are robbing you, 4 are worth every penny. The one that shocked me most costs less than a North Face fleece. I'm Wes. I read the spec, not the logo. Let's get into it. Part 1. The 5 to stop buying. Number 1. The North Face. I know, most recognized logo in the outdoors. That's exactly the problem. And the receipts are brutal. On Pissed Consumer, the North Face sits at a 2.1 star rating. Not just one bad batch, but a pattern. Trustpilot tells the same story. A 30-year customer walking away after a backpack fell apart and a warranty claim got denied. Another buyer's $150 rain jacket completely fell apart in under 2 years. The warranty team's response? Normal material breakdown. One summer t-shirt ripped in multiple places on the first wear. But here's what's actually going on underneath that. And this is the part that should make you angry. The North Face is owned by VF Corporation. Same parent company as Timberland, Smart Wool, Icebreaker, and Ultra. When a conglomerate that size runs the books, the Summit Series technical piece and the Mall fleece end up wearing the same logo at nearly the same price. You're not funding better gear, you're funding shelf space, athlete sponsorships, and quarterly earnings reports. Obviously, a brand that's been around since 1966 should have quality dialed in by now. But surprisingly, the data shows the opposite. Quality has declined as the ownership has become more financialized. The reputation was earned by a version of this brand that no longer exists. For a summer tee or wind shell, the least complicated gear in the outdoor world, that is the worst value proposition on this list. The logo is writing checks the garment can't cash. Before I get to number 2, I pay attention to this. The brand coming up next is one most people think is the safe upgrade from North Face. The data says otherwise. Number 2. Arc'teryx. And here's where it gets interesting. Arc'teryx builds some of the best constructed gear on Earth. The engineering is real, the craftsmanship is real. So why is it on this list? Because you're buying it for summer. And in summer, none of that engineering is doing work that a $75 Sun hoodie can't do. A basic Cormac tee at $80, a tank at $60, an Atom hoodie at $300, the Beta SL jacket at $500 full retail. The press now openly describes Arc'teryx as a streetwear staple, a brand being scooped up by the fashion conscious. That's the tell. You're paying an alpinist-grade premium for weather that never demanded it. But here's the part that almost nobody knows. And this is the hidden layer that reframes the entire outdoor industry. Arc'teryx is now under Amer Sports, which is majority controlled by a Chinese sporting goods conglomerate. So when you switch from the North Face to Arc'teryx thinking you're escaping the corporate machine, you're often just handing money to a different boardroom. The ownership shell game in this industry is the single biggest thing these brands don't want on a thumbnail. Obviously, premium construction justifies a premium price. But surprisingly, in summer, the season with the least technical demands, you're paying for engineering that the weather will never activate. The honest caveat? Arc'teryx goes deep on sale. A Cormac crew drops to $56 discounted. If you're buying heavily discounted, that's a different conversation. But full retail for summer basics? That's a logo tax on weather that never asked for it. Now, number 3 is the one that surprises people the most. Because it's a brand everyone loves. And the problem isn't the brand, it's the physics. Number 3. Fjällräven. This is the most summer-specific stop on the list, and it comes down to one thing, physics. Fjällräven's entire identity is G1000, a dense 65/35 polyester cotton blend. That fabric is physically the wrong tool for hot weather. A long-distance hiker reviewing the Greenland jacket noted it's thick and warm, even on breezy summer days. A technical teardown was blunter. G1000 readily absorbs water, the cotton holds heat, and the reviewer placed it firmly in the front country. Walking to work, not the back country. Even a devoted fan concedes the standard Vitas are a cooler month staple. The price for this heritage? Greenland jacket around $310. Vita Pro trousers around $180. Obviously a Swedish brand founded in 1960 with a cult following must be doing something right. But surprisingly, the core product, the one most people buy, is engineered for Scandinavian autumn, not July on a sun-exposed ridge. And here's the part that stings. Fjällräven sells a 1968 design and a fox logo that has become a fashion object. The heritage is a marketing asset. The factory is a cost center. Like most brands at this price point, the garment is overwhelmingly sewn in Vietnam or China, the same countries the budget brands use. The founding year on the hang tag and the country of manufacture are 2 completely different stories. In summer, you're paying premium money to be hot. Wrong fabric, wrong season, wrong price. Number 4 is one I know is going to get pushback in the comments, but the data is the data. Number 4. Lululemon. An investment analysis put it plainly. Lululemon is a premium brand with the pricing power to pass costs to consumers. A fan quote in the coverage admits the appeal is that it's stylish and not everyone wears it. So you feel special. That's status, not sun protection. Tanks at $89, joggers in the $59 to $99 range, a BC pants north of $120. The brand's own viral $148 dress was widely called overpriced and basic. The entire 10 Lululemon alternatives under $25 cottage industry exists for one reason. People did the math. Obviously, Lululemon makes high-quality athletic wear, but surprisingly, athletic wear and trail wear are not the same thing, and Lululemon's design priorities are optimized for a studio mirror, not a sun-exposed ridge at mile 8. Here's what nobody says out loud. When you're 3 miles into a July hike with full sun exposure, you're going to feel the difference between a garment engineered for breathability and one engineered to look good. The fabric choices, the construction, the ventilation, all of it is built for the yoga to brunch corridor. The hiking pieces are a sideline, not the core competency. You're paying a fashion premium for non-technical fabric. For actual summer hiking, that's a bad trade every single time. Number 5 is the one that genuinely stings to put on this list, because the mission is real, but the receipts don't lie. Number 5. Cotopaxi. The poverty alleviation work is genuine. The Del Dia colorways are genuinely fun. The mission is real. None of that is in question, but the apparel quality doesn't match the price, and the 2026 data shows it clearly. Thing testing's aggregate flags inconsistency, loose threads, fabric scuffs, occasional tears. A gear reviewer testing the flagship Fuego found the shell thin and not confidence-inspiring, with construction falling short of more premium brands. The Fuego retails around $280 to $290. The customer receipts are worse. A $90-plus hoodie coming apart after one wear and one wash. Warranty claim stonewalled. Multiple reports of seams ripping within 3 months. Emblems peeling after a couple of uses. Obviously, a brand with a strong social mission and vibrant community must be delivering on product. But surprisingly, the summer apparel line is exactly where the corners show most visibly. Here's the tell. When a brand won't publish the denier count on a flagship shell, that silence is the answer. A brand confident in its build publishes the numbers. Missing specs are data. You're buying color and cause over construction. Buy the mission if that matters to you. Just know what you're actually paying for. Now here's where this video stops being a ranking and becomes an expose. Everything so far is the visible layer, price, ratings, fabric. But underneath sits the thing these brands genuinely don't want you to understand. You're not choosing between independent brands. You're choosing between 2 or 3 conglomerates wearing different logos. The North Face, Timberland, Smartwool, Icebreaker, Ultra, one parent. Arc'teryx, Salomon, another. When you switch from one big box outdoor brand to another thinking you're making a different choice, you're often handing money to the same boardroom that drove the quality decline you were trying to escape. And it goes deeper than ownership. The same Gore-Tex membrane, the same Pertex fabric, the same Polartec fleece. They supply premium and budget brands alike. Many brands that look completely different on a hang tag run through the same OEM factories. The $60 jacket and the $600 jacket are sometimes sewn in the same building. There's one more thing, warranty theater, the lifetime guarantee that becomes normal breakdown of materials. The seam rip reclassified as accidental damage. The peeling logo conveniently listed as not covered. The hidden detail isn't that warranties exist. It's the specific exclusion language brands write to deny the exact failures their products are prone to. You saw it with the North Face. You saw it with Cotopaxi. It's not a coincidence. It's a business model. That reframes the entire stop buying thesis. The problem isn't a bad brand. It's a financialized ownership model that prioritizes margin over material, which is exactly why the 4 brands coming up are different. None of them are owned by a conglomerate chasing quarterly earnings. All of them publish their specs. Every single one was built by people whose reputation depended on the garment working, not the logo selling. Part 2. The 4 you can actually trust. Number 1 on the trust list, Outdoor Research. This is the brand the data defends hardest, and it's not close. The Echo hoodie, the most recommended sun shirt in long-distance hiking, earns a 4.7 out of 5 across 856 REI reviews. Outdoor Gear Lab gave it a near-perfect breathability score and noted it held up through months of hard use. Clever Hiker calls it tremendous value, and one of their most valued shirts year-round. Blocks approximately 95% of UV, weighs about 4 ounces, runs roughly $75. Founded in Seattle in 1981. Built for people whose safety depended on the gear working. Not for people whose Instagram depended on the gear looking good. That distinction shows up in every design decision. Specs published, warranty is lifetime against defects, they actually repair. Obviously, a $75 Sun hoodie sounds too cheap to compete with $300 alternatives. But surprisingly, the 4.7 across 856 reviews isn't a marketing number. It's field data from people who thrashed it for months and came back to say it held. The honest cons? The thin fabric wears quicker under packstrap abrasion. Like most synthetics, it can smell after hours of hard sweating. Real trade-offs worth knowing. But here's what makes outdoor research the value benchmark of summer apparel. It was discovered by word of mouth, not advertising. It prices its hero product like a consumable meant to be thrashed, and it keeps earning that 4.7 because the garment does what it says. Closest thing to a default buy in summer. Full stop. Number 2. Montbell. This is the brand most serious hikers in Japan actually wear, not because of marketing, because of organic adoption, the kind no ad campaign buys. Montbell is the largest outdoor retailer in Japan, founded in 1975 by alpinist Isamu Tatsuno on a philosophy stated openly from day one: function is beauty, light, and fast. No athlete sponsorships, no flagship stores eating into the margin. The money goes into the fabric. Pilgrim hiker who logged hundreds of kilometers praised the Wicran tees as fast-drying and odor-defying, weathering the test of time. Outdoor Gear Lab's Red on the Cool hoodie excels in breathability, blocks more than 90% of UV at just 6.6 ounces. The pricing is where it gets genuinely hard to argue against. Wicron tees run $35 to $57. A genuine technical rain shell, the Storm Cruiser, sits around $106, a fraction of Western equivalents using comparable construction. Obviously, a Japanese brand with limited US retail presence sounds like a hassle, but surprisingly, the hikers who find Montbell don't go back to the brands they were buying before. The spec per dollar is elite. This is a brand hiding in plain sight. The catch: US availability is thinner than the full Japanese catalog, and sizing runs slim, worth knowing before you order. But if you can make it work, make it work. Number 3. Decathlon 4Class, the world's largest sporting goods retailer, and the outdoor industry's best-kept secret. One reviewer called it the IKEA of the outdoors. That's not an insult. That's the highest compliment you can give a brand in this category. The 4Class MT500 trekking trousers scored 9.1 out of 10. Function first design at an honest price, around 35 pounds. The MT500 merino base layer delivers legitimate wool performance without paying icebreaker or smart wool prices, with multi-day odor resistance confirmed in field testing. Their merino boxers undercut icebreaker at roughly $35 versus $45. The soft shell punches above its 54 pounds and 99 pence price point. Obviously, the world's largest sporting goods retailer must be cutting corners somewhere to hit those prices. But surprisingly, the gap between a $35 4Class trekking trouser and a $180 Fjällräven Vitapro is not a performance gap, it's a marketing gap. The honest caveats: QC is more variable than premium brands. Some lines are 3-season rather than summer weight ventilated. And like most large-scale supply chains, Decathlon produces under conditions worth scrutinizing if that matters to your buying decisions. But as the budget tier, nothing on earth matches the function per dollar. Nothing. Number 4. Rab. The Climbers brand answer to the question, what's like Arc'teryx without the tax? Founded in 1981 in Sheffield, UK, built for unglamorous British hill walking, where the weather doesn't care about your logo. That origin story shaped everything about how Rab prices and builds. The Force hoodie, 100% recycled polyester, UPF 40+, 6.5 ounces, light enough for the hottest days on trail. The Sonic hoodie was a gear tester's favorite hiking shirt in head-to-head testing, with odor control that held after days on the hill. Comes in cheaper than Patagonia's Capilene Cool Daily on a cost-per-wear basis. Runs roughly $65 to $75. Rab runs a U.S. warehouse in Colorado with 45-day returns and a real warranty and aftercare guarantee. Not warranty theater, actual repair and replacement. The fine print doesn't carve out the exact failures the product is prone to. After what you saw with the North Face and Cotopaxi, that distinction matters more than most buyers realize until they need to use it. Obviously, a UK brand most Americans have never heard of sounds like a risk. But surprisingly, Rab has been quietly building the value premium sweet spot in outdoor apparel for over 40 years. The hikers who find it wonder why it took them so long. The only catch: thinner US retail footprint and no published UPF on some pieces. Check before you buy. But as the best value to performance ratio on this entire list, Rab is it. Here's the closing thesis, and it's simple. The 5 brands to avoid all fail the same test. Strip away the logo, the storefront, the heritage, or the mission, and the summer garment underneath doesn't justify the price. The 4 brands to trust pass it. Their fabric choices, warranties, and field reputations were earned by people who wear the gear, not by people who market it. In summer especially, there's nowhere for a markup to hide on a Sun hoodie. The brands that win are the ones charging you for the shirt instead of the story. Now that you know which brands are robbing you blind, the next question is, where do you actually find the hidden gems nobody's talking about? I put together a full breakdown. 7 cheap summer brands everyone ignores but are absolute gold mines in 2026. These are flying completely under the radar, priced like budget gear, performing like premium. That video is up right now. Watch it next. If this saved you from dropping $300 on the wrong gear, hit like, share this with someone who's about to make that mistake, and subscribe to Trail Ranked. We do this every week and we don't pull punches. I'm Wes. I read the spec, not the logo. Drop a comment which brand surprised you the most. I already know which one's going to start the most arguments.